Hi, in today's lesson we'll be learning about the future perfect simple in English. This is when you say you will have done something or won't have done something. For example, by the end of this lesson you will have understood how to use the future perfect simple in English. So how do we form the future perfect simple in English? It's will, have plus the past participle, and it doesn't matter if the subject of your sentence is singular or plural. The form is always the same. By the end of this lesson, you will have understood the future perfect simple in English. So here we have will, have, understood. In the negative, it is simply will not, often abbreviated to won't, plus have plus the past participle. For example, the film won't already have started by the time we get to the cinema. In questions, the form is will plus the subject plus have plus the past participle. So for example, will you have eaten lunch already when we arrive? You can also use shall instead of will, only with I and we. Shall is more formal than will. For example, I or we shall have eaten lunch before you arrive, or I or we shan't have eaten lunch before you arrive. Shall I, shall we, and shan't I and shan't we in future perfect questions are rare. So when do we use the future perfect simple? Well, the future perfect is used for actions that will be completed before some other point in the future. We use the future perfect form when we look back to the past from a point in the future. We usually use a time phrase, for example, by tomorrow, for 3 years. For example, at the beginning of this class, I said, by the end of this lesson, you will have understood how to use the future perfect simple in English. If we look at this on a timeline, so imagine that you're at the end of this lesson and this is a point in the future and we are looking back to the past from this point. So sometime before the end of this lesson, you will have understood how to use the future perfect simple in English. Or, do you think she'll have seen the dentist by 5 o'clock? So again, on a timeline, imagine it's 5 o'clock and you're looking back to the past and she has already seen the dentist. The future perfect tense is used for talking about an action that will be completed between now and some point in the future. Imagine your friend Doug asks you to take care of his pet hamster while he goes on holiday. He wants you to come over today at noon so he can show you what to do. But unfortunately, you're busy this afternoon. So you ask Doug if you can come at 6 o'clock tonight instead. No, that won't work. At 6 o'clock, I will have already left, he says. So what does the future perfect tell us here? It tells us that Doug is going to leave for his holiday sometime after right now, but before a certain time, a certain point in the future, here 6 o'clock tonight. He probably shouldn't have waited until the last minute to find a hamster sitter. On a timeline, it would look like this. So imagine yourself at 6 o'clock and you're looking back from there sometime before 6 o'clock. You leave. Sometimes you can use the future perfect tense and the simple future tense interchangeably. In these two sentences, there's no real difference in meaning because the word before makes the sequence of events clear. Doug will leave before you get there, or Doug will have left before you get there. But without prepositions such as before that make the sequence of events clear, you need to use the future perfect to show which action happened first. At 6 o'clock, Doug will leave. This means that Doug will wait until 6 o'clock to leave. At 6 o'clock, Doug will have left. This means that Doug will leave before 6 o'clock. The future perfect tense is only used for actions that will be complete before a specified point in the future. In other words, the action you're talking about must have a deadline. If you don't mention a deadline, use the simple future instead. For example, Doug will leave, here the future simple, or Doug will have left before 6 o'clock. The deadline can be very specific, like 6 o'clock, or it can be vague, like next month, or it can even depend on something else happening, for example, after the film starts. It just has to be sometime in the future. The prepositional phrases that often go with the future perfect are, by this time next week, Doug will have left for his holiday, or 3 days from now, we will have finished our project, or at midnight, the party will have ended, or will you have already eaten by 6 o'clock, or Bob will not have arrived by the time the film is over, or when I travel to France, I will have been to 5 countries, or my sister will have cleaned her bedroom before the party, or as soon as someone buys this book, I will have made £5. Okay, so finally let's compare 3 sentences using perfect forms. Firstly, Neil and Sue have been married for 10 years. This is the present perfect. They got married in the past and are still married. Next year, they will have been married for 11 years. This is, of course, the future perfect simple. We are looking forward to the future, in this case next year, and are saying that at that time they will have been married for 11 years. And finally, when their son was born, they had been married for 3 years. This is the past perfect. This is used for an earlier past. So they married first and then they had their son. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope you feel more confident using the future perfect simple in English. If you want more on the future perfect simple, for example, exercises and personal feedback, please go to my Patreon page where you can find much more. The link's down below in the comment section. And as always, remember to like this video if you found it useful, share it with your friends and colleagues learning English, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new lessons. And hit the bell so you get notified when any new lessons come out. Take care and see you very soon. Bye bye.